it's Melissa. In this video, I am going to show you how to turn your own images or logos into a full pattern that you can then print and make custom acrylic sheets. So I used this one. This was a logo from a local school. I was making some cheer gear for my daughter, but you can turn these into ornaments or earrings or keychains. They come out super cute, but how do you get that logo into a scattered type pattern? I'm going to show you. Let's start in Silhouette Studio. Okay, so we will start with Silhouette Studio open, and the panel that we're really going to be using is the Replicate panel, and it's actually this second Replicate Advanced Replicate panel. So I'm just going to open that. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to have my image, or in this case, I'm just using a school logo from my daughter's school. So I'm going to make some team gear using the logo here. So this is the logo, but again, keep in mind, you could use any image. So whether you get a file from So Fancy or create your own, whatever, this all applies. Okay, so I am going to select everything by holding my mouse down and just kind of drawing across there. And I want to group it all together so everything stays together. So I'm going to do that. It's all grouped now. And I am going to size it down. So I am going to put this, I want to basically make a pattern that I can print onto acrylic, and then I'm going to cut out keychains, ornaments, and earrings. And so I need my design to be really small. So I'm going to size it down to like under an inch. Actually, I'm going to make it about a third of an inch, because what happens is when you make something very small like earrings, if you are cutting them out and they are only an inch, then you're going to lose the pattern if your design is too large. So I'm going to make it pretty small, and I'm going to start up here in the top left corner. And from the Replicate panel, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my file, and I'm going to say the number of copies I want. Now, if it's about a third, I know that of an inch, that means about 3 will fit in 1 inch, and I have a paper that's 8 inches, and so 3 by 24. So I'm going to say 23 copies. So I'm going to select that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell it which direction do I want it to copy. So I want them to copy to the right, and I want the copies to rotate 180 degrees each, because I want one of the logos to be upright and I want the other one right next to it to be upside down. And that way, no matter which way that I end up laser cutting my acrylic or using my pattern, it's going to be the correct way. So I'm going to change this down here to 180, click that, and then we're going to click Replicate. Now, look what happened. So we have all our copies. It's at about 8.5 inches, which is perfect, because if I was going to change my page to say that I want it to be on my printer, which is eventually what I'm going to end up doing, now I have, it basically fills the page. And if it's a little bit too large, it's not a big deal. I can just delete one. Okay, so that's what I'm going to end up doing. Now, this time I am going to make another copy of this, but I'm going to start with an upside down T, and I'm going to rotate them across. So I'm going to select this one and just right click, copy, right click, paste. Okay, and I want it to start down here. Now you have two choices. You can either start it directly there, or you can kind of stagger it, which is actually what I'm going to do. Okay, so I want them to kind of stagger a little bit so it's more of a scattered pattern. All right, then I'm going to do the same thing. 23 copies. I'm actually going to reduce this down to 22, 180 degrees to the right, and I'm going to do that again. Okay, and now I have the start of my pattern. So at this point, I'm going to select everything and group this. And now instead of doing all of those replicates, all I'm going to do is tell it that I don't want them to rotate at all, because I'm now going to select the entire group and I'm going to have them go down the page. So this time I'm going to select down, and I don't know how many copies I need, but again, these are about 2 to an inch and these are 11. So actually I think about 20 copies is probably what we probably need about 11 copies, because one will fit in each inch. So we'll put 11, and I will click Replicate, and it's going to replicate them down the page. Or you can just copy and paste them all the way down. At this point, you can now, I would group it all together, right click, group, and then you can export this. So this needs to go in this case, I am going to print on hard surface paper on my iColor 560. So I need to actually save this as a PNG. So I am going to change the format. Saving it to my desktop right now. It's going to ask me, do I want a transparent background? And I do. You can increase the dots per inch or DPI if you want. I'm actually going to leave it right now. And then what I'm going to do is I will move over to iColor Pro Rip Essentials and I'll import this same graphic there. All right, so here we are over in Pro Rip Essentials. This is a PC only rip software for the iColor 560. I use Google Drive, so I upload the file from my Mac onto Google Drive and then go onto Google Drive on the PC to download, and then here we are. So to import, I'm just going to click the import option and find my PNG file. Here it is. Now I have full tutorials on how to do this, so I'm going to move through pretty quickly, but I do have start to finish on how to set up for hard surface paper. But again, I'll do that here as well. So here is my file. I can actually enlarge or change the size, scale it down if I want to, but this is pretty good because this is what I did over in Silhouette Studio. So on print settings, I do just need to make sure that I have hard surface premium underprint because we're putting on clear acrylic selected. And when you do clear acrylic, you want the white to be on the back and you want to print on the back. So I also changed the toner configuration to underprint, and that is just going to remind you to make sure that the white cartridge is in the back and the blue is in the front, okay? And then you can go through these other options up here. On white creation, I typically click create white base, and if I want the file or if I want the colors to really pop, I actually do increase this white toner coverage to about 300, but that is up to you. And then color and toner, I don't make any changes here. Of course, you can if you want to. And artwork, you don't need to do anything here unless you want to, you know, make some changes. There's literally nothing that you need to do here, though, that you have to do. Okay, and then you're going to click select output. Now, mine says file. That's obviously not what I want. I want it to save to, I want it to print to my 560. So I need to make sure that my iColor 560 is selected. And I will click OK. And if you want to go through the options to preview, you can click, this is what the white layer is going to look like. You can see white is going to print. This is what the CMYK is going to look like. Here is a print preview, and here is the image that you uploaded. Now, when you're ready to print, you will just click this print button, and in about a minute or so, depending on the size of your file and the amount of data, it will begin printing. Do make sure that you put your piece of hard surface paper with the shiny side down in the bypass tray, and when it prints, it will print it will look like a blank piece of paper came out of the printer, but you just flip it over and there it is. So at this point, don't worry if it curls. That is just from the heat from the transfer printer, which is obviously a laser printer at its base. Okay, so you're going to take your piece of acrylic. You're going to peel off the protective layer from one side, and then you are going to use high temperature tape to tape the transfer directly onto the acrylic. This is just going to keep it in place while you press it. You are going to press at 290 to 300 degrees for a minute. Once that minute is up, you're going to take it out of your heat press, and your acrylic is going to want to curl. You either need to put a box or something on it so that it stays flat for about 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, you're going to peel off the transfer, and that is going to leave your logos behind. Now, they're going to look a little like muted. That's because what you're seeing is the back side. That's the white side of the acrylic. I mean, that's the white side of the transfer. The side that's really going to pop is going to be on the other side. And so I like to leave my acrylic under something even after I've pulled the transfer off. I like to leave it under something for a good, 5 to 10 minutes so the sheet has completely cooled and it doesn't curl up. Then what you're going to do is take it over to your laser. You will need a CO2 laser. I use the xTool P2 to cut clear acrylic. And in this case, I just place my designs into xTool's creative space kind of all over my area. I was able to get keychains, earrings, ornaments, all out of this one sheet. You're just gonna cut with your standard clear acrylic settings, and these come out really, really great. I love making team gear like this because you can make all different sizes. You can, you're really taking advantage of the full sheet of the iColor 560s or the iColor's hard surface paper, and then just put on your hardware, and you've got a whole set of really cute custom acrylic, all made from your custom acrylic sheets. Everything, including the supply list, more tutorials, all of that stuff is in the description below, so make sure you grab that. I do have a whole series on printing on acrylic sheets using the iColor 560, lots of different tutorials, tips, tricks, things to make, how to, make custom cut lines when you don't have a pattern, but you have basically a pre-printed sheet that needs to be specifically contour cut. So check that out as well, and I'll see you guys around.